What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where today we're going to talk a little bit about the Colts and the upcoming matchup and what the game plan should be for the Colts coming into this game. So coming into this one, going against the Steelers, you have a Steelers team who has the best defense in the league right now. You look at some of the leading stats for them, the NFL league leading 8.7 points per game allowed, and then also an NFL leading 229.7 yards per game allowed. Now, stats only tell part of the story, but obviously the Steelers defense has been very dominant this season. It's really the story of the first few weeks. Now, again, stats will only take you so far. You look at last season, Gardner Minshew and the Colts go up against a Browns defense that was historically great up to that point. That was like week 8. Browns defense was dominating, and we ended up losing that game, but we put up like 38 points, right? So, I think it's possible to come up with a game plan to be able to take advantage of a defense that's very good. Now, this defense for the Steelers is predicated on trying to make teams pass the ball, and this week, that's exactly what we need to do to Justin Fields and the offense. Yeah, I think stylistically, these offenses are fairly similar. Now, of course, Arthur Smith has a different kind of offense than Shane Steichen does, and Arthur Smith is I guess more dedicated to the run, more about the run. Now Shane, especially because we have Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson, like we usually do a good job of keeping it balanced as long as the games aren't too crazy and we can stay in them. But in this game against the Steelers and with the way their offense operates, we're gonna have to make sure that we keep their run game under wraps, right? Which has obviously been the issue so far this season. Now of late, it's gotten better, but I did see stat that was the first 3 halves of this season for the Colts, they led 149 rush yards per half, and then in the last 3 halves that they've played, they've led up 30 rush yards per half. Of course, 2 of those coming against the Bears, where the Bears end up with 65 yards, I believe it was, combined rushing as a team. So we're getting better and we're getting back to the way we used to play on defense, able to stop the run, especially when Grover Stewart's playing. We're able to have a good game in that aspect without DeForest Buckner, and I think that some of the rotations that we use on defensive line were good rotations. We used them at the right times, and they were able to be effective for us. So without DeForest Buckner in there, I liked what I saw from the defensive line. So coming into this game, the Steelers have a lot of offensive linemen that have gotten hurt. Now they do have the benefit of drafting last year Broderick Jones, and with Troy Fontenot on the IR, he comes in as right tackle, so they do have that depth there, but they already have Nate Herbig on the IR, who was supposed to be their starter. Now Zach Frazier, who I believe is a rookie for them also, coming in, has played well. From what I've seen, Zach Frazier has played well. I think one of the better rookie grades in the NFL right now. And then they also have Isaac Suomalo. From what I heard, sounds like he's probably not going to play, although he is back at practice for the Steelers, so I guess anything's possible, of course. But the vibe that I got was that, he's missed the first few games, so coming back, he's going to continue to be limited at practice, and then he's not going to play in this game, but will probably play next week. So my thought process here is that they're going to have backup at right tackle, backup at left guard, backup at center. Now this is the Steelers, so we know that coming into this game is going to be physical. Okay, we were able to overcome that last season. We were able to beat them. Pardon the interruption. I just want to let you guys know how much I appreciate you stopping by the channel. And I also want to say that when I look at the analytics, 50% of the people that come by and watch this channel are not subscribed. So as Peyton's telling you to do here, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn those notifications on so you get notified when any videos come out. Now, if you need any further proof of why you need to subscribe, when you look at the numbers, 62.4% of the views on this channel over the last month have come from people that are not subscribed to the channel. So again, if you're one of those people, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you so much, and let's get back into the video. So that's what we hope for coming into this game. Now, I will be at this game, so of course I really hope that we're able able to stop him. But the way you want to play Justin Fields is to make Justin Fields have to throw the ball, right? Najee Harris has been the primary carrier for them, even though there was a lot of talk, and rightfully so, about Jaylen Warren coming into the season, how good he is in that backup role. Najee Harris has dominated the carries, even though he's only averaging 3.8 yards per attempt. But the threat of Justin Fields and what Justin Fields can do escaping the pocket, I think that's what we have to be cognizant of. I think we did a good job with that against Caleb Williams, somebody that had to throw the ball 52 times, tried to roll out plenty of times, but we did a good job of staying on attack. We did a good job of collapsing the pocket and being able to keep them in place. If you can make Justin Fields continue to have to throw the ball and don't give him the opportunity to run the ball and to keep a bunch of drives alive with his scrambling or with just QB designed runs, being able to stop that, being able to continue to stop the outside runs the way we have in the last three halves, which has really helped the defense as a whole, being able to stop those outside runs and those quick screens and the different things, the pitches and whatnot that were happening in the first three halves where we gave up 150 yards rushing per half, right? Being able to clean those things up has obviously had an effect on the defense. We need to do that again in this game, right? That has to continue, right? It looks like, Zaire, EJ, they woke up. It looked like the defense has woken up after that first half against the Packers. The defense seems to have woken up and they're back in it. Whatever they found, they seem to be in a groove right now and need to keep that groove going where we keep, again, Justin Fields throwing the ball. Justin Fields, Najee Harris can't be sitting here keeping a bunch of drives alive. Exactly what you don't want. That's one thing the defense has struggled with, is getting off the field on third down this season. So those are the main sticking points for the defense this week. In terms of game plan, hey, listen, we have to make sure Justin Fields doesn't kill us with his unfits, run gaps, whatever we need to do from that aspect. We need to make sure that we're playing flawlessly so that Justin Fields is going to have to try to beat us with his arm, and we can have a guy like Jalen Jones or somebody like Nick Cross, who had an interception last season against the Steelers. Hey, maybe he can get a pick, right? Justin Fields will give us opportunities if we make them throw more, which brings us to the offense, because one way to make a team have to throw more is to be in the lead. How do we do that? We get an early jump on them, okay? And how are we going to be able to operate the offense, right? Of course, Anthony Richardson right now is having some issues throwing the ball, right? The accuracy kind of all over the place right now. And we've seen him hit all kinds of different throws. We just don't see him hit it consistently, which is the thing that needs to be worked on. So while Anthony Richardson, who again, basically a rookie, this is going to be his 8th start in the NFL. So when you have a guy like that who obviously has some things that need to be cleaned up, and a young guy who, because of the development that needs to happen, you don't want to put everything on his shoulders. There are times where he plays like he has to make every play and do it all for the team. He doesn't have to do that. He shouldn't have to do that, I should say. And the offense coming into this one, we have the veterans on the team. We should be able to be able to help him out and have complementary football on the offensive side of the ball, right? Obviously, with Jonathan Taylor and as good as he is now, going up against his defense, it's going to be what kind of space can we carve out? They have an extremely good defensive line. Cam Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi, TJ Watt on that defensive line. And obviously, Alex Highsmith is going to be out for this game. But nonetheless, they still have this is where you get great on great. Okay, so far, Colts have had the best offensive line in the NFL. If you look at the metrics, you look at how they've been able to protect for Anthony, how they've been able to block in the run. They've had a really good season. Now, again, the Colts offense hasn't been as effective because Anthony isn't always hitting the mark, but offensive line has been incredible. And you look at different places, they are the top ranked offensive line at this point. So when you look at that, you look at the defensive line with a couple of guys who could easily make the Hall of Fame in their career with TJ Watt and Cam Hayward, and then you throw Larry Ogunjobi in there. You throw in, Mike Tomlin being the coach, right? This is going to be a very difficult game for the offense, an offense that has struggled right outside of the Houston game where we were able to make the explosive plays. It's really been a struggle. Obviously, last game Jonathan Taylor helps lift the team. That's what I'm talking about. We need Jonathan Taylor to do his thing. We need more designed runs for AR, right? While he's working on his passing, let's get him involved in the run game. Now, I think there has been some of that with RPOs, but I think a lot of teams are kind of playing to kind of stop Anthony and make sure he's not going to be the one that kills us. And then they can just rally to the football with Jonathan Taylor getting the ball. So I think we need just more designed runs for Anthony. Keep him involved in the game. Keep some of that pressure off of JT. Have them kind of working as a tandem we expected to. Be able to throw in the RPO because you're doing more designed runs for Anthony. I just think there are ways for us to come into this game, and even though Anthony is struggling as a passer right now, you can still game plan around and make sure that the guys on the team are helping us win this game, right? You have a guy like Josh Downs. I think getting the ball out quickly is going to be important. Now, again, Anthony has to hit his mark, can't be throwing interceptions on these short passes, but I do think that coming up in this game, Josh Downs could have a big impact. Him and Pitt, I think, could be the guys that we look at, right? Keep possessions going, just get the ball out quick because TJ Watt is very good. It really doesn't matter who the tackle is. It could be Trent Williams against TJ Watt, which would be incredible to watch, but TJ Watt is going to get his. It's just what TJ Watt does. So we have to make sure we're getting the ball out quick. We have to make sure Anthony has really good pocket presence, so it'll be interesting to see as TJ's getting that pressure, what does Anthony decide to do in this game? He's got to make correct decisions. Again, you can't go turning the ball over. You have to hold on to the ball. If you're carrying it or if you're in the pocket, you have to have strong hands because he's going to come in one to go for that ball, and you can't be throwing the ball away, overthrows. If you're going to overthrow, man, you got to overthrow to the right place, right? So he's just got to learn how to hit his mark, and obviously that's what we're really worried about with the offense is just can Anthony hit the passes to get us into the right spot, to get us first downs when we absolutely need it, right? We know Jonathan Taylor, for the most part, is going to be able to do his thing. He's going to be able to find some space where others wouldn't. But Anthony has to be able to play a clean game. That's really what it comes down to, is just taking care of the ball, running the ball. So that's the game plan for the offense, right? Exactly what the Steelers want to do. Right, we want to make the Steelers pass the ball. That's what the Steelers defense is going to want to do to us. They're going to want to make us pass the ball. So we have to get up early, have to be physical. I mean, physical right away. We have to run the ball, start the game with an 8 to 10 play drive, have 6, 7 of those plays be runs. Get down the field a couple of 10-plus yard runs, a couple of hard-nosed runs. Maybe Anthony gets a run or two in there. A couple of passes that just keep the drive going, right? Some screens, some short stuff. Josh Downs, getting him involved. And maybe at some point, right, with running the ball and setting things up early and being able to score a touchdown early, you set it up to where in the second quarter, you're running the ball well, and boom, you get to midfield and hit Alec Pierce or A.D. Mitchell for a touchdown because they're able to get behind the defense. So, in this game, that's what it's going to be, is just keep possession, which is what we haven't been able to do, but we did a better job of that last game. Continuing to get better through the season is all we really want to see, right? So can we sustain drives coming into this game, at least to a decent clip, right? If we can have third down efficiency at 40%, that would be an improvement from where we've been this season. So I think, keeping us on the field, keeping the defense on the sideline. They've already played a bunch of snaps this season, so keeping them on the sideline. And of course, injuries are going to play a factor in this. There are guys that we already know the Steelers aren't going to have. We'll see about the Colts. Kwity Paye is on the injury report. There's rumblings rumblings of, hey, he might not play. Latu might be playing a lot, which actually could benefit us. He would be going against Broderick Jones a lot, who had, I think people would say a disappointing rookie season for that Steelers offensive line, which is why they draft a guy like Troy Fontenot. But we'll see what happens. But those are the game plans for us, right? Offensively, we need to be able to run the ball. We need to be able to sustain drives because obviously Anthony is struggling right now in areas with his accuracy. So you need the team around him, and we have the vets that we should be able to do it, and the talent around him. And with that offensive line, run the ball, get the ball out of his hands quickly, have him make good decisions, don't turn the ball over. That's the plan for the offense, the game plan for the defense. At the end of the day, make Justin Fields pass the ball. That's really it. Be able to stop the run, come in, be stout. Over the last 3 halves that the Colts have played, they give up 30 rush yards per half. We need to continue that against the Steelers. It's going to be a very physical game. The defensive line has to come up huge. There's so much talk about it, and without DeForest Buckner and possibly without Kwity Paye, how are we going to adjust? How are we going to be able to perform against an offensive line that also has some pretty key injuries? So a lot of interesting matchups to watch this upcoming season, but this game is 100% going to come down to the trenches on both sides. Okay, our offensive line against our defensive line, great on great, who wins, and then vice versa, injuries on both sides, their offensive line, our defensive line, which one is able to step up and make the plays that are necessary, which quarterback is going to keep the ball for their offense and not make decisions to lose the game. So far, that's been Justin Fields this season. AR has had some turnovers over these last few games, which he wasn't doing, admittedly, at the beginning of last season when he was able to, start in a few games. So hopefully we can clean up some things coming into this game. Of course, going to do a game preview, and we'll see what time I end up doing that. Again, I'm here in Florida. There is actually going to be a hurricane coming through at any point, but where I am, I should be pretty okay, but I might end up having heavy winds and some storm and whatnot, so might not have internet at some point, but hopefully able to get content to you guys as soon as humanly possible. So make sure you subscribe with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we have any more content on this channel. This weekend, we'll see what happens. I'll be at the game Sunday, so we are not streaming this Sunday. But again, I'll get content to you guys as soon as I possibly can. All right, so with that said, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. As always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.